Exodus 17:16. For he said, because Yahweh hath sworn that Yahweh will have war with Amalek from generation to generation. Kol halal Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai Bahasham Makakudash. Double honors unto the apostles, double honors unto the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than ever. The 144,000 and the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners among the heathen that look like those heathen, and to the few akwak that are listening and learning, to you, I say shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago, coming at you another lesson in truth. And I'm reading this book, which is really a hard read because it just makes you so angry. And how, you know, the JOO's role in slavery brought America and the world to the point that it is now, and how it's been downplayed. But the truth of the matter is, they were the main driving force behind it, and they knew exactly who the people that were going into slavery, are. All right, they knew exactly who they were, starting from the time that Cristobal Colon, aka Christopher Columbus, came to America with 5 Hebrew interpreters, knowing he was going to interpret the Israelites, who they falsely referred to as the lost tribes of Israel. They were never lost. They always knew that they came to the Americas, the Northern Kingdom, that is. And they always knew that the Southern Kingdom fled mostly. The Southern Kingdom went everywhere, but they fled mostly into the interiors of Western Africa. Most of those African communities that were set up in Northern Africa and following the Niger River all the way to, gets to the ocean there, going westward, were Israelite, settlements that had set up from Mali all the way to Benin. All right. And so they were very well aware of it, and they orchestrated it. All right. And now, and literally, that history is connected to today. And I'm doing a series on the Critical Race Historical Facts channel on the book Who Brought the Slaves, didn't say black, Who Brought the Slaves to America, and it's giving you all the history and the references and where the information came from. All right. One of the resources was where it came from. One of them was Henry Ford. All right. Henry Ford wrote books and all this information about this thing. But to get to current events, what we've got to now is now that these same Amalekites are trying to destroy a portion of Ishmael out of Palestine. All right, to seal this deal, to keep themselves relevant in a world that's on fire, that's headed into World War III, where they're not looking, whereas the other powers, being the BRICS countries, have gotten a jump and a head start on the whole digital thing, and the control over the Bering Straits and all this other stuff that's going on now with the Houthis and whatever the hell is going on in Lebanon, where they're trying to get a grip on that so that they stay relevant and that they're not, behind when this or have to be subject to the BRICS nations when this new thing kicks off. All right, but let's play this short video here with Hamas, and this is the Canadian Preppers shorts. So let's go here.
The primary driver behind October 7th was to create the chaos that we're seeing right now. If you take yourself back to October 7th, the United States, which the whole world knows is the top supporter of Israel, had just gone through a major change in the House of Congress, right? We lost our Speaker of the House. Without a Speaker of the House, legislation can't be passed in the United States. So in that absence of a leader, this plan was executed because Hamas, supported by Iran, knew full well that the Biden administration would not be able to rush in and help Israel. And the United States was already heavily taxed in Ukraine. Another strong, proven military doctrine is no country can win a war on two fronts. What happened with the invasion of October 7th is now the United States is engaged in proxy wars on two fronts. everybody inside the United States, they all understand we won't win if we let two wars happen simultaneously. And that's just two. Who's the biggest threat to the West? China. And they haven't even made their move yet. The primary driver behind October 7th.
So they're fighting, you know, this is
Canadian Prepper here. So today on the channel, we're going to be talking about...
So they're fighting a battle that they cannot win. But now that we played that, hold on. Let's play this TikTok video with the former Marine. I forget his name right now to come back to me, but here we go. Scott Ritter. So let's turn the sound up.
States can do to look. There's nothing the United States can do to change what's happened here. We would have to physically land 100,000 Marines on the Yemen soil to secure the straits. To physically remove that. We don't have 100,000 Marines to land, and how are we going to get them that close to shore? The classic way that we're currently configured is a legacy system of amphibious warfare where we put all the Marines on one big ship, inviting that ship to be sunk. Why are we doing this? What do we hope to achieve? We will not open up the straits. We will not. This carrier battle group is a legacy concept dating back to World War II. It has no application in modern warfare today whatsoever. None. You think the Houthi are afraid of American airplanes dropping American bombs? It ain't going to change anything because now the airplanes take off from an aircraft carrier, except that it's going to be easier for the Houthi to target that aircraft carrier. Nobody's thinking through the consequences of American chest beating. We're America. We can deploy a carrier battle group. So what? No one cares anymore. No one's losing any sleep about an American carrier battle group 2 or 3. The world doesn't care anymore because it's an irrelevant military force.
Damn.
We're doing this because Israel wants to kill Palestinians. Let's just be straight up here.
Yeah.
There is no military strategy for Israel anymore. They can't win against Hamas. They've already proven it. And Americans told them, you got to shut this thing down come the end of the year. Okay, you got to transition to another mode of operation. So what's Israel doing between now and the end of the year? Simply slaughtering as many Palestinian civilians as possible. That's it. It's genocide. And we're the ones enabling that. We're going to veto another UN effort to bring about a ceasefire. A ceasefire. We say, no, let the Israelis kill as many Palestinians, because it's not about defeating Hamas. It's literally about slaughtering Palestinians. The Houthi have said, we want that to come to an end. We need humanitarian good. So America is going to sacrifice everything, because we're going to lose. I'm just telling you straight up, we're going to lose.
So this is not looking good because the world stage is looking at this. All right. But this is prophecy being fulfilled because it clearly tells you. Let's see if I can find that real quick. The least of the flock shall draw them out. And that will be the Amalekites. Amalek is drawing everybody out. This is Jeremiah 49 and 20. And it reads, therefore hear the counsel of Yahweh that he hath taken against Edom, and his purpose that he hath purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. All right, well, there is no more wisdom, by the way, according to the scriptures. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. So the least of the flock are really the most hated people worldwide. And well, the world is watching what's being done to these Ishmaelites, to these Palestinians that are in Palestine, who really don't belong there, because you got to remember the land was parted by two different people, by Amalek and Ishmael. All right, and neither one of them belong there. That they fulfilled the prophecy of in Joel. Esau also fulfilled the prophecy of Edom taking the Holy Land in Ezekiel the 36th chapter. All right, 36 and 5. Edom aggressively and violently took the land, and now saying that they're the people. They fulfilled that prophecy. All right. Further putting a cherry on top of a well-baked cake of chaos, murder, and slavery and colonization. All right, because they they took the Israelites into captivity here in America and made it look as if it was done by other white people, and then set up all these organizations, all these alphabet organizations that completely and totally support Amalek, and 100% even out of America, using American tax dollars to support them. They truly own America, and then make it illegal, and criminalize you, and completely what's the word when they cancel culture on you if you speak up and say something against them, or bring forth any evidence that what I'm saying is true, because it absolutely is. All right, now let's play a little bit of this one.
NATO, by all accounts, is showing that it wants out of Ukraine. NATO does not want to be part of this anymore. You saw a complete change in government in the Netherlands. You've watched as Hungary from the beginning has not wanted to be part of this. You've seen France and Germany step away. You saw Poland on the brink of changing their entire policy because of a change in government. These are true European NATO partners that have long supported Ukraine, and they don't want to be part of this. So all the other countries, all of your smaller Romanias and whatever else in NATO, they're just going to go with whatever the predominant opinion is. The force driving NATO to support Ukraine is the United States. And the NATO leadership is so frustrated with the United States bullying their decision-making that you're actually seeing strife between Spain, Germany, France, and the Biden administration here in the United States. They want independence from the United States because what we're seeing in Ukraine is just indicative of what they've seen in the past and what is sure to happen in the future anytime the United States wants Europe to fight an American adversary. NATO.
So there it is, man. So
hi, folks.
The
Canadian
fact
Prepper here.
is that the nations are NATO is breaking up, and if you can see how they're all going to turn on Babylon and Amalek. All right, and the men of the Lord have been telling you, since the elders, and they would tell you even before that, but they've been telling you on the YouTube since 2007. That eventually all the nations of the world are going to come against America and Israel, all right? And that's exactly what's about to happen. If you're not paying attention, that's exactly what's about to happen. But the Lord is blinding these people to the danger that they're in and the problems that they're creating, all right? They're creating their own destruction. But this is Revelation 17:16. And it reads, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore." That's NATO. And who's the whore? That's America, because America is the whore that rides upon the beast. They're all led by the whore, all right? "And they shall make her flesh desolate and naked, and they shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire." So when these arrows that fly from one end of the earth, all right, and the arrows that fly from one end of the earth are ICBM missiles, the majority of them are going to be aimed at Babylon, the daughter of Babylon, Babylon the Great, all right? Not ancient Babylon. The ancient Babylon is still there, all right? We're talking about Babylon the Great, which is America, all right? So now let's play this video from Scott Ritter.
New Speaker of the House, and nice Republican MAGA guy from Louisiana, a good American boy. He's going to help America, make America great again. First order of business, was it to help the homeless? Was it to reduce the deficit? Was it to fund the U.S. military? Nope. We're going to send money to Israel. Bam, ladies and gentlemen, you just found out the whole thing.
Yep.
U.S. Congress is bought and paid for by the Israeli lobby, by Israel. Don't take my word for it. Ariel Sharon openly bragged about it when he was prime minister. Benjamin Netanyahu openly brags about it. They disrespect us so much that they buy our Congress and then they brag about owning us, about owning it. And the proof is in the pudding. When the Speaker of the House, first order of business at a moment when America is suffering so much to send more money to Israel, you know who's running the show.
That's right.
Yeah. And AIPAC has been blatantly out there for Netanyahu. They don't want anybody but Netanyahu. They are pro-Netanyahu, and that's it. It's not even being, right now, it's not even just being pro-Israel, which they are, it's amazing. People hear AIPAC, but they don't realize that it's, like you said, American Israel Public Affairs Committee.
There you go.
Imagine if it was American China Public Affairs Committee. People would be losing their minds. Yeah, right. They would be losing their minds, saying you are working on behalf. You are a PAC, literally working on behalf of a foreign government.
Victim villains.
This is not about Americans, and yet it's extremely, extremely powerful.
Israel isn't a foreign government. You know, Israel is an extension of America, according to so many
Right.
people. Look, we allow this, we allow American Jews, when they turn 18, to go to Israel and enlist in the Israeli armed forces, the armed forces of a foreign country. Now, people say, well, come on, there's never going to be a problem between Israel and America. Let me take you to September 1982. American Marines were put on the ground outside of Beirut to provide a buffer so that the PLO could be evacuated after Israel invaded Lebanon, went up to Beirut, surrounded it. We were there. 3 Israeli tanks, British Centurion tanks, attempted to cross Marine lines to get where they weren't supposed to be. A Marine captain got on top of the tank, told him, you can't go here. The Israeli ignored him. He pulled out his pistol, put it to the Israeli officer's head, so I'll blow your brains out if you move one step forward. If you don't think America is capable of confronting the Israelis, you don't know a damn thing about the complexity of American-Israeli relationships. I'm telling you right now that if you're an American working for the Israeli government as a member of the IDF, you've betrayed your country because your loyalty is to this country.
Wow.
See, now I'm anti-Semitic. Now the ADL will call me anti-Semitic because I dare question the loyalty of somebody who says, I want to wear the uniform of another nation.
You know, pointing out facts and then saying something negatively about a person or hateful about a person are two different things. But for some reason, the ADL and all these agencies, which were built upon hate themselves, got to the positions that they're in by showing nothing but hate. Now I want to be the world police on what's hate and what's in, and make you an anti this and an anti that when you point out something that's absolutely true. I disagree with that wholeheartedly, and the world is beginning to see them for what they are. But here we go.
Sir, taking an oath to another nation, not an oath to the Constitution, an oath to Israel, and understand that if push comes to shove and another American Marine jumps up on the tank and that guy's in the tank, he's going to have to shoot that Marine as an American.
Right. We had a member of Congress show up to Congress wearing an IDF uniform.
Should have been arrested on the spot.
Should have been. Yeah, it should have been completely. That should have been. That should be considered.
Can you imagine? Who's the representative from Michigan who's getting in trouble right now?
Rashida Tlaib.
Yeah, Rashida. And I'm not a big fan of Rashida. I'm not, but I'm a huge free speech person, and free speech is free speech. And she didn't say anything. You can disagree with what she says, but what did Justice Brandeis say in the Supreme Court? The antidote to speech that you don't like is more free speech.
Right.
Meaning, if you don't like what they're saying, say something that opposes them. Instead, they said,
come against them, expose them.
Imagine if she showed up and she just said, I'm going to wear a green Hamas thing with Arab. I'm just going to show them, go, hey, I'm Hamas, baby. What do you guys think of that? She'd have been shot, first of all, coming in. They'd have shot her, literally shot her. They let a guy wear an IDF uniform as an American congressman in Congress. This is almost as bad as when Congress let 4 members of the Azov battalion come into Congress to address them.
Which goes to show you that, because all of a sudden, Azov are Nazis. But they sure were doing a whole lot of things with and for the Jews who love to throw the Nazis under the bus or compare you to them whenever you say anything that they don't agree with. But Ukraine is full of Nazis. The Azov battalion is full of Nazis, and they bear the symbol of Esau, of the Khazarian mafia, going back to to the 6th and 7th century. The same symbol that the Khazars, the Edomite Khazars, used back then, they're using now, which is to go to show you that they're all Amalekites. It was all a scam, all a lie, all along. All right? So let's go now check with Stephen Banoon. Oh, here we go. Let's play a few minutes of this and then we'll close.
And here with Israeli News Live, and I wanted to share some things with you here. The situation in Israel is just getting crazier by the day. Doesn't matter now whether it's Gaza, Lebanon. Now I'm hearing that they've struck Aleppo, airstrike in Aleppo, the Israeli military has. And And I'm sure that the IDF would justify all the strikes they're doing, saying that they're trying to deter any possible buildup or retaliation for what's going on in Gaza. But the mere fact of the crimes that are happening in Gaza is unprecedented to anything I have ever seen Israel do in any time in the past. And as I also watch world leaders so oddly, I want to say quiet. Some of them are not totally quiet, but they just they're not willing to truly condemn genocide when it's happening. Just like the other day, I was watching Robert Kennedy Jr., and he was speaking about the situation that happened in Azerbaijan against Armenia and all the Christians that were being killed. Really made him look like a great guy, great candidate for making that statement. But he doesn't say one thing about the Israeli government being the one supplying the arms for Azerbaijan to attack and kill all the Christians and drive them out of their homeland in Armenia. Doesn't say anything about that. If you go to iConnectFX.com, you can see what I said about it and how I expose the evils that are going on there. Putin the same way. He might show by words compassion for the plight of those that are suffering in Gaza, but does nothing about it. Biden, no different. Now the administration, the Biden administration, trying to say to Israel, you need to wrap it up and change your course of action. All along still supplying all the weapons and all the bombs that Israel has need of to make sure they can continue this genocide.
Exactly.
That is happening in Gaza. And just the other day, I was watching a news broadcast, this little girl out of Gaza saying, when will you stop pleading? When will you stop bombing us? Probably 8 years old. And she pleaded and pleaded to stop bombing us.
Her pleas are falling upon deaf ears. The deaf adder. All right, when the truth comes out, they close up their ears. You know how little kids, la 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 la, I can't hear you. All right, and they just want more and more blood. They don't care. We're talking about the Amalekites here, the most vicious of the villains, who always play the victim. They're doing this because they were victims, and they're protecting themselves and preserving their way of life, which is all a lie, and the whole world sees it. This is Jeremiah 49 and 7. Concerning Edom, thus saith Yahweh of hosts, is wisdom no more in Teman? Is counsel perished from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished? Because the decisions and the things that they're doing, they're almost like they're acting off emotion. And they're making these really sloppy mistakes, even with a lot of these planned events, you know, where you get these people that they hire, you know, to and then people actually die as a result of it. But then you go and you're able to find that there were crisis actors that were needed for that same date and that same time and that same location. And this, you know, over and over again, this sort of thing happens, but that portion never makes it to the news, you know. Or another example, how they you have all these smash and grabs in America, and it always happens to be camera angles that are perfect to get the whole thing, but there's never any security or any police ever there while they record this whole thing over and over again. It keeps happening. All that sort of thing is an agenda, and these are the sort of things that these people do. Jeremiah 49 and 10. But I have made Esau bare, I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. The Lord is going to bring everything that they're doing to an end, as he's going to bring them to an end. 2024 is going to be that year. A lot of bad things are going to happen, and everything's going to ramp up. And this could be the year that all the prophecies are fulfilled. All right. But with that, I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakaha Kwadash, Kwam Yasserala Shalom.